Probably 30.
And action.
Everybody, welcome to the Better Together podcast. Hands down, without a doubt, the best looking guest we've had.
Thank you.
To date.
Oh, shit.
Jaime Pina is with us today. Jaime, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Corey. B. How about MJ? How are you?
You know what? I'm fucking stoked. You know why? Because you don't have your shirt off. And every time you work out in this gym and you take your shirt off, it pisses me off a little inside. But guess what? I don't got to deal with that shit right now. You're fully clothed, looking dapper AF. But I may or may not have an emotional reaction when I see you with your shirt off.
I have one as well. It's just, it's like in the groin area. You know, it's not anger. It's just like, it's hot. I get flushed. Whew. My goodness.
So let's get it straight. I've taken my shirt off once, maybe at the gym.
Liar.
It was 110 once.
I never thought of you as a liar.
Yeah, well, now we're finding out a lot.
Listen, this bro
maybe twice
rips his shirt off in this gym.
Daily.
And not only the girls, but the guys too are just like,
yeah, daily.
Ridiculous. Anyways, Jaime Pina,
not true.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Jaime Pina. First, I'd like to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Cholula. The green sauce, though. Okay,
it's so good.
You haven't tried the green? Switch it up. It's delightful.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So member podcast today. Jaime's obviously the member, and we're gonna find out a little bit more about him, his journey, how he came to Fit Society, what it was like for him starting out, what it's like for him now, how he's so ruggedly handsome, and all the stuff in between there.
Yeah. So, Jaime, we'll kick it off like this. Obviously, at the end of this, we'll wrap for 20, 30 minutes. At the end of this, hopefully somebody learns a little bit about your story, which you've had a tremendous amount of results with us. And they would be so inclined to maybe take some of that and implement it into their lives. So why don't you start there, man? How long have you been a member with us? Where did it start? And then just kind of walk us through it, and we'll go from there.
For sure. So I've been a member for roughly about 3 years. We moved to Phoenix 5 years ago from Austin, Texas. And I was always into fitness. I would say more of a runner though. Didn't do a lot of weight training. I thought running was it. And I did that a lot in Austin, and I had a great community in Austin. So it was us, a bunch of runners running together on a consistent schedule every day. And that's what kept me going. That was where I got my fuel. We moved to Phoenix roughly 5 years ago, and I lost that community, right? Because they're in Austin, Texas, came here, and I started running, and man, I just couldn't get motivated. It's like, this stinks now. One, the weather is super hot. Two, it's like no one to run with except for myself. And when you're going on like a 10-mile run, 5-mile run, it's really boring. So started trying a couple things. First was try the Big Box gym. Went there, and I didn't know any programming, right? Because I wasn't big into lifting. So I kind of walked around, looked at some a bench or two, did that, did some curls, did some, what everyone else was doing. I'd think, oh, that looks kind of cool. I'll try that. I'll try this.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it just wasn't satisfying. Didn't have a community feel. You walk in and you're kind of alone, right? Trying to figure it out. And there wasn't any competition there. That's what I loved about the running, is we would have really healthy competition, and it was just missing everything. And one day I came home and I'm like, gosh, I got to try something different. I'm just not getting motivated to do anything, and I'm missing the competition. And my wife said, well, there's this gym by my eye doctor called Fit Society. Why don't you just go look at it and try it out? Like, just go in there. So one day I walked in and thought, hey, you know what? I'll try out this gym. And a little intimidating at first, right? Because you're walking in and it's these classes and everyone seems like they know what they're doing. And so you walk up and the coach asks you to introduce yourself, or they introduce you, and the workout starts. And what I love about you all, you have programming that's 2 different types of programs. And so you kind of can select based on your fitness level. So I chose fitness. And I remember there was a member who's still a member that I partnered with the first time. And I thought, I'm going to kill this, right? Walking in with confidence and thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to show them how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through the workout, I had to leave and almost vomited. It was so hard, just a different fitness level. So that's how I found Fit Society, and that's where I knew, oh man, this is going to push me to another limit that I haven't been pushed before. So signed up and been a member for 3 years now.
That's rad. You're when I think of you and your I guess your time with us, all I've seen you do is progress on a performance level, on an aesthetics level, over that time. Like you've just progressed and you've built and progressed and built, and you've done multiple things with us. What all programs, or I guess things, have you done with us that you've exposed yourself to over those 3 years with respect to you? I know you've done some one-on-one stuff, you've done some group stuff. What all have you done?
Man, I've done a ton with y'all. So I've done the group stuff, right? Going to group classes, that's been awesome. But then also you all have, I would say, workshops or other seminars that you give.
Yep.
Participated in some of those, right? Educated myself on kind of fitness, because coming in, I honestly didn't know much about fitness. I knew a lot about running, and that's it. I didn't know much about diet, didn't know much about, lifting, didn't know much about breathing, all these other things that you all offer. And so was able to participate in a few of those. Personal training, I think that's helped a ton for me. Just making sure that, hey, I'm continuing to progress and learn the skills needed to not get hurt, but to make sure that I'm doing the lifts right when we do have those kind of lifts. And the personal training and the coaches in the group classes are awesome as well to help with that. But the biggest thing, MJ, I'd say that I loved and participated and helped springboard to just this other level was the S4 challenge that you all did in the beginning of the year. That to me was like a trampoline effect, where it's like you did that and then boom, it was able to just hit another level of not only fitness, but also just education in the whole nutrition space and fitness. So it was really beneficial.
What did you do in the nutrition space?
Man, here's what's crazy is I still don't know a lot about nutrition, but I just know enough to be like dangerous and healthy. And what I mean by that is,
well, there's some people that want to be dangerous and healthy on this freaking podcast. So tell them how to be dangerous and healthy, buddy.
You know what I did is I downloaded an app that counts your macros. Okay. And I just started doing that.
Yeah.
And it was messy. And, they say change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and glorious at the end. And it was hard. Right. Because you have to have that discipline to say, okay, I'm going to scan this barcode on these hamburger buns, and I'm going to put in like how much I'm eating there. I'm going to weigh this meat, a hamburger, whether it's bison, whether it's beef, whether it's turkey, and I'm going to see how much I'm eating, and I'm going to plug it in. And that discipline was really hard for the first 2 weeks to, I would say, month. And so that's all I know now. And so I have my macros that I plugged into this app that on your website that says, here's what you're supposed to be at in protein, carbs, and fat and calories. And so all I do is try to hit those every day. That's all I know about it. Now, I obviously know you stay away from like ice cream and other things, but I still do hit up ice cream once a week or have a cheat meal here and there. But that's all I know.
What's your hot take on chicken nuggets?
Oh, chicken nuggets. So I love Dino Bites.
Yeah. Makes two of us.
Yeah. Costco sells some as well. I can't remember what they're called. They're in this green thing, but hey, they got good carbs, good protein, and good fat.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So check this out, Jaime. And it's we can of course and it is funny and we laugh about it, like nutrition of what you don't know, right? But the crazy thing about nutrition, this is where I was like, we can sit here and say till we're blue in the face, hey guys, go to fitsocietyaz.com and go to our program, and right there's a nutrition, all free 99, costs you free 99, nothing, anybody, whether you remember or not, and it'll link you up with Precision Nutrition, who's a great authority in the space that keeps shit simple, that will go, here's your calories, here's your macros, start there. Here's the thing with nutrition, the genius isn't in the idea, it's in the execution. You actually went out and did it. You did a small amount of things extremely well. And that's why you've been able to maintain and get results in that space. So if anybody out there is listening and you're like, man, Jaime, I saw him with his glorious biceps and his 12-pack. Like, what is he doing? He's got to be doing all the things. It's like, hey, man, he went on, educated himself, got what he needed to his method to get where he needed with the principle of cutting his fucking calories, getting the macros tight so they're nutrient dense. Yeah, can you eat ice cream? Sure. It's just not going to be a nutrient dense food, and it's not going to serve you well towards your goal. So you account for it. And so by you going through that, like, listeners, so simple to do, just not easy. Like, basic shit done extremely well. And that's how you've done it. You did, you were also a victim of the 75 hard. What was that all about?
Oh man, that was awesome. Well, I'll tell you, MJ, you and Cassidy inspired me, because I'm always up for a good challenge, and I would say it's a great program if you have the flexibility to do the program. But man, it was awesome. So start at 75 hard. Obviously, there's those things that you have to do every day, right? Work out twice a day. One of them doesn't. I would work out kind of hard with one, and then do a walk for 45 minutes outside, or something that was a lot lower in intensity. You know, the reading, the water, all those habits that you start to build in 75 hard were awesome for me, because it was difficult at first, but then at the end you formed all those habits, and it's not like I maintained them all. I picked which ones I wanted to continue to maintain in my life. So like the water, that's an easy one to maintain. And you just feel so much better drinking the water every day. And I think it's a gallon of water a day, and your head is just so much clearer. It's amazing what water can do for you. Reading, I did not maintain, but I still read much more than I used to, because 75 hard helped establish that habit within my day. And then the counting the macros. I always count my macros, and I do it. I think I'm on like a 284 day streak. And I just hope to continue that streak forward.
Right.
So those are the things. And then working out every day, or trying to move around every day, is what I'm focused on too.
Just out of curiosity on the nutrition, what are your what do you weigh? I got this little thing called a pen here right now. How tall are you?
5'10".
What do you weigh?
180.
180. There's a lot of 5'10", 180 guys out there. What's your body fat percentage?
7.
2.
Did you guys hear that? That wasn't a glitch. That wasn't a glitch in the Zoom world. That was 7. Yep, 7% body fat. What were you when you first started? Do you know? I
was probably around, when I first started, probably around 15 to 20.
Yeah, so you've lost more than double your body fat percentage. So just an idea, carb fruit. How many calories you consume on a daily basis?
3,000 a day.
3,000. And what's your mix of carbs, proteins, and fats?
So 250 protein.
Yeah.
So 250 grams. 320 carbs, and then 62 grams of fat.
That's too much fat. Fat makes you fat, dude. It's way too much fat. Don't you know that?
It's not hard though.
What's
awesome is I don't have to deprive myself. Like
right.
I do eat hamburgers now. They're bison burgers, right? And I like buy a leaner meat for it, but you don't deprive yourself.
But you put cheese on it.
Yeah, I can put cheese on it.
Yeah. No, I
think probably what's interesting for you, Jaime, is I'm sure that you're at an optimized state enough of your body that even though you can have the fun, you've been disciplined for so long. I bet you there's times when you have a little bit too much fun, and it makes sense in your macros, but then you're like, okay, I hit my macros, but I feel like shit. Like my energy's down. I don't feel good. Have you had experience with that?
Oh yeah, you definitely start to feel that. And that's that nutrition. I mean, that's when your body just knows what gives you energy and what doesn't. And you can feel the difference in diet. So this weekend, right, we had a lot of family activities, and you know, we're really busy. And I went off of them. I mean, yesterday I went to Sonic and had onion rings and a cheeseburger, but you feel it the next day because your body's not used to that,
right,
and feeding your energy. So it's just a different feeling where you almost want to stay away from it just because that feeling that it gives you afterwards.
For sure. Yeah. And I bring that up mainly because I think a lot of people hear numbers like that and they think like I'm 5'10", 180 pounds. Like I can hit those numbers. And even if they're a little lower than that, because they're trying to lose weight, lose body fat percentage, I think in their head, they go, oh my gosh, like I can eat freaking cheeseburgers and onion rings and like still hit my macros. Yes, you can, but that's not the optimal way to do it. We want to hit those quality whole foods first. And then when we want to have fun, we can have fun so long as we're staying within the guidelines, or even if we go off them a little bit. But I don't want people to get confused and hear 3,000 calories and be like, oh my God, I can do whatever the hell I want.
No, it's good stuff. And then the key that I found, Corey, is you got to break down, like, in order to get in the habit of it, you got to go through like a destruction phase is what they call it, where I'm getting rid of my old habits for 22 days. They say you have to do that. And that's the hardest phase probably, because you keep wanting to revert back to your old. And then the next 22 days are like the installation phase of a habit. So you're sitting there installing the habit and it's becoming more consistent. And then eventually what happens is that installation becomes integration. Is basically now it's part of my life, where it truly is a habit where I feel lost if I don't count my macros because I've done it so long, where it's part of me.
Absolutely. You mentioned your family. You had family in for the weekend. You have a wife, and how many kids do you have? Three.
Yeah.
Three. What would you say, because you were the first member of Fit Society out of your family, what would you say the impact was like on your family once becoming a part of the community and then watching all of that, like getting super serious and dialed in on it and then watching that trickle into your family life?
It was crazy because our family, so everyone should know that all of us are members of Fit Society. It's awesome though, because what happened was you go into Fit Society and I would love it, right? I'd come home feeling accomplished. My head would be cleared. I got what I needed from the workout. And it wasn't just physical, right? It's also mental that you get from the workout. Like, hey, I accomplished something today that most people don't want to do. And it felt really good coming home. And so I'd share with my wife, and she was kind of looking for something similar. And then she started training with one of the coaches on a one-on-one basis just to help her, because she was doing a lot of triathlons. And then she got hooked. She started going to the classes, and then she got hooked. And then my kids saw it. And this is really why I love fitness, is because it sets a great example. They saw us making it a priority, going to the gym, right? And doing it as a family. And they were sitting in what we call the kids' cage. It's better than a cage.
It's a cage, bro.
But yeah, we call it the kids' cage. And they're sitting there watching us. And then you all started the kids program. And they were all about it. Like, they wanted to learn the movements. They wanted to do what their parents were doing. And then it's cool because we talk about Fit Society. It's part of our life. We talk about the people there. We're part of that community. And they want to be part of it too. So it's really neat. And I mean, it just spread. And I'm trying to get more and more folks that we know to go to the gym there, because it's just a different feeling than what I've ever experienced at any other gym.
Yeah, we just, full disclosure, and we're announcing it to the community this week. So by the time that this airs, people will know. But we went to such a level that we ultimately decided to hire his wife. For God's sakes, what were we thinking? No, Danita, his wife, his awesome wife, who's a rock star, but remember herself, and has had a remarkable just progress from like who she walked in as, with the person, the body, all that stuff, and then like the person, the body, the results, the skills that she's developed, her abilities. It's incredible. So she's going to come on and help us with our kids program and some other stuff too. So we're super happy to have her involved in that. So a little shout out to D Money, you know what I'm saying? D Money.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to her too, though, because I tell you, I wouldn't have had the success that I'm having without her. Like, you never try to install a habit alone, they say. Mm-hmm. And she's been my accountability partner and I've been hers. Yeah. So if you can find that person, MJ, yours was Cassidy, right? During 75 hard. Right. Her and I were together there, and it just makes it so much better and so much easier.
Right. So maybe we shift gears, man, with your experience, your results, doing the different things. What are, like, I don't know, I'm throwing it on the spot a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 nuggets or takeaways or things that you could say to the people listening that you know is to be truth and that are just principled that they should, if you could be like, man, do this or start with this or prioritize that for them progressing in a holistic version of health, whether it's super fitness centered and programming centered or nutrition centered or being part of something, whatever. What are the most low hanging fruit things that come to mind that these guys can pick from you, from somebody that's done it and in it and doing this stuff?
Yeah, I think it's one, just pick one thing and try to be really consistent and keep it simple. And then once that habit gets instilled in you, then move to the next. So I think a lot of people, what they try to do is bite off the full thing right away. Like, oh, I heard MJ talk about 75 hard. I'm going to do 75 hard. Right. And it's 5 different things you're basically inserting into your life that can be difficult if you already don't have that set up or some type of structure set up. So I'd say pick one thing. Is it go to the gym 6 days a week? And that's the only thing I'm going to focus on for 66 days or 75 days. And you just stay focused on that. If you already have consistency in going to the gym, maybe it's the diet, right? Or that's the first thing. I'm going to count my macros, and I'm just going to try to keep it simple. Go to the Fit Society website, get on there and understand how many calories should I consume based on what I'm trying to achieve. Right. What do those macros look like? Plug it in the app and then just try to be consistent there. Whatever it is, I'd say do one thing at a time. Because if you try to do more, you're going to overwhelm yourself. And a lot of times you end up taking a step back. And if you do that, I think it's easy, because everything easy today was hard yesterday, or was hard at some point, right, in your life. And if you can just focus on that one thing, and then once it becomes a habit, then move to the next. So I would say just break it down one at a time.
Sure.
Love that.
I think with the last part with nutrition, if we've done one thing not as well as I'd like to have done so far, 10 years in, it would be us being able to organizationally provide and facilitate and prioritize nutrition. Like it's always been there and we know about it, but it's honestly the hardest thing for anybody to do. I really believe that. I think it's easier to work out than it is to eat right. Again, personal opinion, some people are like, screw you, MJ, I can eat chicken, broccoli, brown rice and never work out. Okay, cool. That's fine. But I think for most in our community that are, that have committed to fitness and living that part of their lifestyle out, that 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and maintain that, the toughest thing has been nutrition, right? So one thing I'm convinced of, and it kind of goes against my principles or few methods or many approach, is that I'm convinced everybody that wants to achieve some sort of results like you've had, Jaime, or anybody else, that you have to go through a process for, I'm going to say, a short period of time that's open for interpretation person to person, to where you go and you get exposed to what calories are, what macronutrients are, because you just don't know what you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And by going through the process of going, like you said, this app or that app or our website and resource or some other, and just doing that and being in it for a week or two and getting everybody goes, it's so ridiculous that I would have to weigh my food. I go,
forever.
Well, yeah. What's that?
Forever too.
Yeah, forever. And we're like, nobody wants you to weigh fucking 6 ounces of bison burger forever. But do you know what 6 ounces of bison burger looks like? Do you know what a tablespoon of peanut butter looks like? Because you're really doing 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. And if you look at the macro breakdown in calories on 3 tablespoons versus 1 tablespoon, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I had no idea. So just a little side note in the spirit of, like, everybody on this call right now is just trying to be fit, man. They're trying to look good. They're trying to feel good. And I really think that everybody needs to go through that process. You just don't know what you don't know. And until you do it, you don't have a chance. What say you about that, Jaime?
Agree 100%. So my mother-in-law started counting her macros. And even when Denise and I did, it was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was eating the appropriate amount. I thought I was eating the appropriate foods. But you start to realize that your portion size, to your point, 1 tablespoon is a lot different than 3. And those macros are a lot different. You just start to educate yourself and then understand, wow, maybe I shouldn't have, a double patty, because here's what's going to happen with my day, and then versus a single patty of bison. But I think that's spot on. You just got to immerse yourself in it and just learn it. Yeah. And that will give you a good foundation to see where you're at too, to understand, hey, now I've learned a little bit here. Now, how do I start making improvements just sporadically throughout my week and making better choices?
And we have on there too, for all my homies out there that hate counting calories. I hate counting calories. I don't have to count my calories. I don't. But I went through the process of knowing what was what and how much. And I know how to build a plate. I know what protein sizes look like, carbohydrate sizes look like, fat sizes look like. For those of you guys out there that more associate with me on that and don't like going into the weeds on that shit, we have on our website as well I didn't mean for this to be like a total nutrition thing, but dude, the way you got to where you're at is these things, and people need to understand that. We need to prioritize it and talk about it. So on our website too, we also have a cheat sheet for portion sizes. For a palm is a protein serving, and a cupped hand is your complex carbohydrate, and then your fist is vegetables, and your thumb is your fat, like butter or your dressings or whatever. Like if you just follow that on sizes visually, it's not perfect, but it's going to help you progress and control the calories, control the macronutrients. So however you get there, but at the end of the day, you got to get there.
For sure. I got one more for you, Jaime, and
Yeah.
we'll probably wrap it up here.
Yeah.
So obviously you've done the nutrition thing mainly on your own. You've hit seminars here and there. The skill set stuff, you've worked mainly with Diane one-on-one. What would you say is the number one, the reason you did that? And then number two, the benefit somebody can expect going from, because I think a lot of people get trapped in this, like, I'm in a group class, there's a coach there, that's all I need. And I think that is a lot of all some people need, but I think there's definitely a huge benefit to the one-on-one side too, as far as fast tracked and getting that one-on-one attention. What would you say your experience was like with that?
Oh, it's been awesome. So I would say the progression started really happening through that one-on-one training, where you start to see the level jumps in your skill sets and your strength, and I would say even your fitness levels when that started. And it was partly because I needed help with form, right? I could only do a certain number of reps on a certain lift because my form was so bad, where certain things would start hurting, or like I'd get exhausted right away. But here I can work that muscle group much more by understanding the form and doing it right, where now that muscle group I think is building much quicker, and also my cardio. So I think it's been phenomenal. She's also introduced me to not only just the Olympic lifts and helping me in that space, but also the gymnastics movements. That's a skill. And I think that skill is something you have to work on. But again, skill takes someone there to help coach you and point out things in a consistent way to say, hey, this is where you need a shift, or this is what you did well. So to me, working with Diane has been super beneficial, and I would recommend it if anyone's looking to kind of jump to the next level, to get a personal coach. And then the competition, what really drove it to me is I'm super competitive and disciplined. I love y'all's app because I get on there and it's a good competitive, right? And I get on there every day and I'm really consistent at beating Corey.
Yeah.
I was going to say, dude, I'm about to sign up with Diane. I'm tired of losing workouts by 10 seconds and 5 reps.
Yeah,
it's
right,
getting pretty
man.
freaking annoying. I
beat me all
post
the
every
time.
day, and I check back an hour later, and Jaime's beat me by 10 seconds. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Annoying. Just annoying.
That's the competition, though. It's like the
it's
scores
good.
get
It keeps
better
me
every
coming
day.
back, dude.
As
I
the
push
day
it
goes
way
on.
harder. Way harder.
Yeah. And a good way to like look at that, if you're like somebody going, man, do I need one-on-one, like all of a sudden, I would just, the two words that come to mind is like general and specific. The group classes that we do are literally a GPP formatted class with our programming. It's called General Physical Preparedness, right? It's going to make you leaner, meaner, faster, stronger. It'll work on all the different adaptations you see over a month with strength. You'll get weightlifting, you'll get gymnastics, you'll get skill work, cardio exposure. You get all those things generally all the time. But if you want to go from general to specific, and you want to work on gymnastics like Jaime did, or Jaime wanted to work specifically on Olympic weightlifting or specifically on form for efficiencies, that's where you should start nodding your head and looking into and inquiring about, well, it's not that the GPP isn't serving me for the reason that it serves. It's that if I want to go from general to specific, whatever that thing is, then that's where you'd want to do that. And Jaime's done a good job of that. And literally it's taken him to another fucking level with his fitness and his, did I mention his 6-pack? Third time. So yeah, it works. So anyways, well, Jaime, on that note, we'll let you go.
Your wife is going to watch this and just be like, the amount of compliments he's getting.
I know.
I need to come on this podcast every week, man.
Like your hype man. Yeah.
But anyways, as we wrap it up for real, Jaime, you guys have done a tremendous job. We're very grateful to have the Pinas at the Fit. We're super stoked to now have you in our fold on a not only as a member level, but as a part of the fam team level. And it's just cool to see. So good job, man. Good job to you on everything you've done over the last 3 years. It's good because we need rabbits like you running around that members can be like, oh man, this shit's possible. And like, I can live this and I don't need to do anything crazy. I just got to do some small things consistently over time with an organized effort, and you get great results. And you've been like the poster child of that. So good job.
Sure.
Well, MJ, I want to thank Fit Society. Honestly, you guys built a great value proposition, and the delivery of it's phenomenal. The coaches are off the charts good, because you can have good programming, but if a coach doesn't sit there and understand the programming and help you along the way, and it's just phenomenal. Every coach that you have is heads and shoulders above anyone who I've ever engaged with in the fitness space. So kudos to you guys, and thank you for making us better.
Thanks, brother. They'll hear
Thank
that.
you.
And I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Till next time, gentlemen. And that's a wrap.
Oh.